Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. And today we've got the infotainment demo on the 2022 Lexus UX. In this video we're going to take a look at how the gauge cluster works and how the infotainment screen works, go through some of its basic functionality, and comment on its general usability. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at the car. This, parked right up close to our garage door so that the infotainment screen is in the shade, is the 2022 Lexus UX here in the 250h model, meaning we got a hybrid powertrain, incredibly efficient and smooth. If you do want to see more on Lexus's compact, technically subcompact crossover, check the link in the description. We've got a little bit of a first drive review from when we had this car down in Florida, sound system test of the Mark Levinson audio system. We'll have some highway fuel economy testing as well. Nice red interior in this F Sport model. A little bit of an older setup in here compared to some of the brand new Lexus vehicles, but let's start off in the gauge cluster. It's controlled through the left side of the steering wheel, some directional buttons and a back button. Pretty cool gauge cluster design. You've got the center ring, if you will, a little bit inspired from some of the Lexus performance vehicles. And we may end up actually having to start the car because it says not ready to drive, and you clear that out, and about 10 seconds later that message comes back. But we'll see if that ends up being annoying. On the right you have fuel, a clock, a lot of your indications for EV, etc. Left side you have engine temperature. It's interesting to see for this type of vehicle. Outside temperature up at the top, and some indications on the bottom for lane departure warning and other driving aids. Digital speed always right there in the middle, and some information screens below that. Right now we're on fuel economy. You've got a live readout and an after reset readout. Range, tire pressures, a switch between miles per hour and kilometers per hour. A bit of a calm screen there, a screen for your driver aids, and that is it. Looks like you can't even go left or back to get to other screens. Oh, but you see if you press this button, then that actually shuffles that over. Isn't that cool? Actual physical moving aspect in there. And then you have the larger screen on the left if you want that information. Pretty much the same info we saw in the middle, but with some extras. Here's an energy monitor screen so you can see where your power is going between your engine and your battery and the wheels. G-force readout, because that's necessary in this car. Tire pressures again. Yeah, so a little bit more information. And then if you go left and right on this screen, you have all of your settings. You can turn on and off your lane centering, steering assist, driver alerts. It's nice to have customization for so many of those, even your parking sensors, your forward collision warning sensitivity, changing things for your head-up display. What do we got in vehicle settings? Okay, a few more things for the active safety, oil maintenance, tire pressure warning system, would that be? It's usually TPMS, not WS. Some things for maintenance. You can even schedule or set. It's got a kick sensor for the rear lift gate, volume probably for how loud it beeps. Quite a lot of settings in there that you can play around with. Let's leave that. Meter settings, language, units, drive info. If you want your clock to be on 12 hours or 24. Color, really? You can change the color. Hey, look at that. That's fun. Settings for the tachometer. Change to tach when sport mode is on. Oh, you can have the tachometer always be up or the hybrid vehicle meter always be up. It's nice how much they let you indicate this. Rev indicator, rev peak. What would you have for a setting in there? Ooh, you can turn the EV light on and off. That's cool. Yeah, a lot of different stuff to play around with. Messages, if you had any vehicle messages popping up. Things for audio, seeing what's playing. You got a compass, and then I'm sure if you had a destination set on the map, you would be able to see those directions there, and then the vehicle information we first went through. So a very customizable display, and one that you might not realize is so customizable without poking through it a little bit. Then we move on to our center infotainment display. You can see a nice analog clock on the left, and then a big screen pretty far away, and that's because it is not a touch screen. It is controlled through this touchpad, a little bit of an older setup for Lexus. It can take some getting used to, but once you figure it out, it's not the worst system in the world. It's just not as intuitive as a good old touchscreen or a rotary knob. Other than that, you also have volume control right here, one of the more unique volume controls I've ever used. You sort of rest your hand here and then you can move it back and forth. I actually quite like the placement and usability of it. It's just when you don't know it's there, it might take you a little while. And then you can actually seek through tracks on the right and left side of this center area and tune using that scroller as well. It's a pretty cool setup. I'm surprised they haven't used it in more vehicles because, again, once you get used to it, I quite enjoy that aspect. Then you have map and menu buttons built right in above the trackpad, as well as a back button. Right here we are on the navigation screen. You can see my cursor moving around corresponding with my finger on the trackpad. I could use this to click around, move about the map, select certain areas and actually go to it if I wanted to, or save it as a certain destination. You have to come all the way over to the side if you want to change things like your map perspective. And then same, you can go over to the right, bring up a split screen right here. So if you wanted your map to be up on the left side, and then things like audio or your energy screen, your energy monitor right there, or maybe your climate controls, you could have that. I usually like to just have the full screen visible like so. Press menu, and that brings up this bottom menu screen. Starting on the left, you get your mapping, and then one over, you have your audio. Bring that up and you're greeted with sources. Let's go up to Sirius XM, see how that looks. You got all your presets there on the right. I like how you can come down here and get a station list. And say, no, I'm open to all genres. Gosh darn, this thing's frustrating sometimes. Oh, it's actually just showing all genres. Well, let's go to country. And it'll show you all the country stations. You can scroll through there and choose one. You can tell as I'm moving about the screen that it is frequent that I overshoot something or have to kind of come back to it. It can be frustrating with this system. Can we bring up our phone screen while CarPlay's connected? No, if you choose phone, it goes right to CarPlay. We'll get back to that in a minute. Apps or applications, you have Lexus notifications and a Wi-Fi hotspot built in. No more applications other than that. I'm sure you can install more, but there might not be too many since this is already a system that Lexus is phasing out. The info screen is somewhere I like to spend time. In Eco, you can see, again, where power is being sent and coming from. You can also go to a trip information and see how efficient you've been over the last 15 minutes. And in the history screen, it'll show you over the last, pretty much since you've had the vehicle, or depending on when you clear it, how efficient you've been. You can see we've been pretty consistent, right about 36 miles per gallon. Information on traffic incidents nearby. Let's see if there's been any. Oh yeah, quite a few. Are these recent? Oh, it's just showing slow traffic. Okay, interesting. Hide traffic flow. Ah, here we go. This is just showing closures. That's kind of cool. Weather, I like having that built right in. You can see what the current weather is and 3-day forecast, 6 to 12 hour forecast, certain locations, and a national and local you can search around, and a weather map built right in. That's definitely useful. If we had rain coming, I'd be able to see that. Vehicle alert history. If the car's had anything happen to it recently, you can check that out. It looks like, it even shows when pre-collision's been utilized. Let's see, back on December 13th. Oh, malfunction in the pre-collision system has been detected. Do not rely on it. Go to the dealer. You can get to an electronic owner's manual as well. That can definitely be useful for looking something up. Cool little animation. Look at that. That's fun. Can definitely be more useful to look something up in here than to bring out your owner's manual from wherever you have it stored. You can even do a keyword search like, can I draw things? No, I have to type it. What's the point of having a trackpad if I can't draw? F line, let's see what that is. Checking the coolant. Oh, F for full. What else we have? Setup screen. This is how you get to changing the clock. Typically this is going to be set by GPS, but if you turn that off, you can actually change the clock, and you can see on the left side the analog clock scrolling around. That's pretty satisfying. But we're just going to have it reset by GPS, have it go back. You might need to turn daylight savings time on or off, and that's how you do it from there. You can change the language of your vehicle, just 3 though, Spanish and French, as well as English. Display settings, this is how you can turn the screen all the way off if you like to drive with more of a simple look, especially at nighttime. You can adjust your brightness as well from here. Projection settings, turning on and off Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Again, you can change that theme, colors. A lot of different adjustments for turning on and off different sounds, the speed of the cursor, the haptic feedback that you feel. You can really customize the system. And I highly recommend, if you own one of these vehicles, spend an hour or so messing around with it, stop in your driveway, customize it to how you like. And not only will you be more familiar with the system, but you also will probably enjoy using it more on a daily basis. What do we have under vehicle customization? Oh, things like door lock sounds, lights, etc. Nothing too much more interesting there in the settings, so let's make our way over to climate on the far right. Now this car does have physical controls for climate, but you also might want to adjust them in the touchscreen for some reason. So you can customize exactly how the air is being blown on you, fan speed, temperature, etc. Adjustments for the heated seats and heated steering wheel. In fact, I do think, no, there's physical controls for that as well, so not quite sure why you'd use that. You do have an option in there for eco heat and cool as well, if you really want to utilize all of your fuel economy advantages. All right, how about Apple CarPlay? Bringing it up here, you can see it takes up the whole screen. Looks pretty nice. Don't really have to worry about screen response, but you do have to get used to cycling around. If I wanted to go down, open up a certain app, it's going to require quite a few swipes to get to it. Say I wanted to go up to Amazon Music and bring it up. There we go, Amazon Music looking good. Let's get something playing. There's your now playing screen. Go up to Google Maps. If you want to move around the map, it's, again, a few clicks, but it's going to be more for using navigation anyway. Here's the phone screen. And let's go to settings. All right, how about Android Auto? Now I should point out that setting up Apple CarPlay was very easy. We simply had to plug in the device. Didn't take very long, but one of you asked about kind of seeing how long it takes to set some of these things up. So we're going to unplug Apple CarPlay and plug in Android Auto. Right away, I was prompted, when safe, unlock your phone to start Android Auto. And the phone is asking me to do the same. Open it up. Jump through the screens real fast. And there we go. It's coming up on center screen. And it is the widescreen version of Android Auto. So you can see we've got Google Maps taking up 2/3 on the left. And then on the right side, you have your music. If we were to go to YouTube Music, they would flip-flop. Then you have Google Maps on the right, YouTube Music on the left. And let's go over to Home and scroll through your applications. Let's go to Settings. You have your settings screen, and let's go to the phone. There we go. So there it is. Lexus Inform and the infotainment system here in the Lexus UX. Pretty customizable set of screens system. I quite like it. I'm not a huge fan of the touchpad interface. I do prefer the touch screen that the newer Lexus vehicles have. So something to keep in mind if you are shopping, that you might want to get in and play with the system for a little while. Maybe even try renting the car for a day or two and seeing if it's something you can get used to and enjoy. If you're someone who relies a lot on Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, some sort of phone projection, it may get a little cumbersome and tedious using this touchpad. But overall, I think most people can adapt to it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Lexus UX, check the links in the description. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.